YouTube, welcome back to the channel. Today we've got a fun project to tackle. This might take a few days, but in essence we are going to be installing some Brembo calipers onto the Accord right here. So without further ado, let me show you what we got. So right here we have front Brembo calipers off a Genesis Coupe. Any model year should work, but we're gonna start by test fitting these, and these should bolt right up. And for rotors, these are 320 millimeters. But yeah, they come off a 2015 to 2017 Nissan Rogue 3-row model, I believe. So yeah, those are the parts we're gonna be test fitting today. And we'll probably need a spacer, but for now we're just gonna see if it'll even bolt right up without any issues. Let's get started. So, apologies for any of the wind noise, but obviously since we're working with the brakes, I'm gonna take off the front wheels first. Let's go ahead and do that. Alright, so now that we've got our front wheel off, let's go ahead and set down a box down here to rest the caliper on. And let's go ahead and start taking apart this front rotor. So the first thing we're going to try to do, we're going to try to get this screw out here with our impact driver and a hammer. This should be the hardest part in my opinion, so let's get that knocked out of the way.
So the wind decided to really pick up for the remainder of this video, and so I'll go ahead and just be doing a voiceover of what I'm doing right now. So after taking off the screw holding on the rotor, what we're doing is taking a 17 millimeter and undoing the two bolts holding on the caliper hub to the knuckle. And I'm taking this all off as one unit, the caliper hub and the caliper itself, and resting it on the box down below. So I'll go ahead and insert a clip here showing you guys which two bolts I'm undoing right now. So coming back here, these are the two 17 millimeters on the top here and one in the bottom right there. Right here I'm showing you guys, if you have a rotor that's stuck to your hub, what you can do is take, in this instance, an M8 by 1.25 bolt and screw it into the rotor, and it will push off the hub, allowing you to take off your rotor. So here I'm gonna show you guys the calipers that I got, and what's gonna happen is it'll bolt right where the two 17 millimeter bolts came out of. However, what you need to do here is trim the dust shield to where I'm pointing. That's how far back you gotta cut it. And what I'm gonna do next is take a pair of tin snips and start cutting it, and then cleaning it off with a rotary tool. So let's get started. So here we finish cutting the dust shield and making sure the Brembo itself clears without hitting any of the dust shields. And our next steps here is going to be mounting our rotor. So here we're getting our rotor ready, and what we're gonna do is put it onto the hub first, like so. And then once you have it mounted, to get it to stay in place, what we're gonna do is take our lug nuts and put 2 or 3 of them on and turn them down all the way down to the rotor so that it stays in place. Okay, so now that our rotor is secured, what we're gonna do is take the caliper here and our 2 17mm bolts and start threading them on, making sure that the rotor is centered into the caliper, and then rotating the rotor to make sure everything clears. So yeah, now that we have the caliper secured, we're rotating the hub itself to make sure nothing on the back is rubbing against the dust shield or hitting the caliper. And in this case, I remember when I was rotating it, I was having some rubbing against the dust shield. So all you need to do in that case is just push back the dust shield a little bit. So now that we have everything secured, here's where we run into issues with our wheels. So I have the Model 3 Aero wheels, and trying to put them on right now, it does not fit. Like if I try to, like, even a 5mm spacer, it would not engage any of the lugs. And at this point, I'm kind of panicking and going like, oh shit, what am I gonna do now? And I started looking at Marketplace for any spacers that were available so that I could even put these on to try to see what spacer I would need. And luckily I found a set of 25mm spacers that were made for a Honda that I eventually do put on. But yeah, as you can see here, I'm kind of just like, fuck, these wheels do not clear the Brembos at all, which, you know, I'm going into it, I kind of had that expectation that my wheel wasn't going to fit. I just didn't expect it to not fit this badly. So yeah, when you're doing Brembos, double check your wheels. I highly recommend planning for Brembos when you get wheels so that you don't run into the issue I have. All right, we're back. So putting everything back on, I was contemplating putting back my stock brakes, but again, found a set of 25mm, so I was committed to putting this completely on. Spilled a bit of brake fluid there, but it's whatever. So we're putting the rotor back on and the caliper back on next, and then we're gonna put on our 25mm spacer to see if our wheels clear. Jumping back into the thick of it. So got the spacers on, putting on the wheels, and we clear the Brembos. I'm happy. So now we're gonna put on the lugs and put the car to the ground and see just how badly the poke is. Spoiler alert, it's pretty fucking awful. Now that you guys have wrapped everything up, before we start putting the brake pads in, what you want to do is tighten up these rear caliper bolts up to 80 foot-pounds of torque. Forget to mention here, use blue thread locker.
There have been stories of people having these bolts back out.
Okay. And then what you can do next is take your stock brake line
and go ahead and transfer it over. You will need new crush washers. You'll need the M10 size. Yeah, you'll need the M10 by 14 washer here to secure your new brake line here. And yeah, after that, go ahead and put your pads in and do everything in reverse order and do the other side. So in summary, what you'll need to do is take off the rotor, take off your caliper, trim the dust shield and bend it back a little bit, and then start test fitting things up first. Once it all fits, transfer over your brake line, rubber brake line, over to your new caliper. You're gonna spill a lot, so have napkins ready and make sure you wipe any mess you make, because brake fluid is very, it eats paint, so be careful with it. Make sure you clean your new brakes with brake clean so that it's all free of any oil. Oh yeah, that's how you do a big brake kit on a Honda Accord. Again, I did not have the luck of finding wheels that fit, so check the forums, check Facebook groups for fitment first, and see if you can run it. If not, you might need to buy new wheels. Simple as that, unfortunately. So yeah. Second update. So we've got 20 mil spacers on, and they do clear the wheels. They still poke out just a tad bit. If I had coilovers, I could just put some camber in, but I'm on springs, sadly. I'll put an update in the video, but I have some 15 mil spacers to see if maybe this will push it in a little bit, because I think the wheel itself can clear 15 mil spacers without hitting studs, but I'm very close to hitting the brakes already on 20 mils, so got a feeling 15 mils won't cut it regardless. So gonna have to live with 20 mil spacers and just a tad bit of poke. All right, third and final update for you guys on the big brake kit. I swear this is gonna be the last one. So we have 20 mil spacers on there, this one right here, and I mentioned that they cause the wheel to poke a little bit. So what we did, got some 18 mil spacers, and they cause them to sit just about flush. Tiny little poke, but you know what we can do? We can pull the fenders a little bit. No big deal. It's a tiny little pull. So, like that. Just about right. So, for the last time, if you found this video helpful with the big brake kit, hit that like and subscribe button. To summarize, with Genesis Brembo calipers, Nissan Rogue rotors, 3-row specifically, the 320mm ones, and 18 mil spacers on Tesla wheel, they will clear. Just barely. And you'll have decent fitment. You know, not too bad, but could be worse. Peace out and take care.